What if the hunted decided to hunt back? What if the wilderness itself became a trap? Not set by man, but by the very creatures you sought to destroy? Today we unravel a chilling true story, where a group of poachers driven by greed dared to challenge the ancient wisdom of the African giants. They thought they were the predators. They quickly learned they were the prey. This is the wrath of elephants, and it cost them everything. Our story begins in a remote, forgotten corner of a vast African national park. 3 men, Elias, the ruthless leader, Juma, the tracker, and Kwasi, the younger, more nervous lookout. Their mission, ivory. Their arrogance, limitless. They moved like ghosts, their only thought, the unimaginable sums waiting for them. Once they brought down these magnificent creatures, days turned into nights. The poachers, hardened by past successes, found their target, a small, vulnerable herd, including a calf. They stalked, they waited. The air was thick with the scent of dust and impending doom. In the pre-dawn hush, the crack of a rifle shattered the peace. A thundering matriarch, a sentinel of her family, crumpled to the earth. Her cries, guttural and heartbreaking, echoed across the savannah. The calf, disoriented, bewildered, watched its mother fall. But what Elias and his men didn't know was that this herd was different. This wasn't just another kill. The matriarch wasn't merely a statistic. She was Nala, a legend among the rangers, known for her extraordinary intelligence and her deep bonds. Her family wasn't just grieving, they were watching, and they were remembering. The poachers celebrated, hacking at the tusks, their hands stained with blood. They worked quickly, loaded their spoils onto their battered old 4x4, and prepared to vanish back into the bush. This was the easy part, they thought. The wilderness had always bent to their will. But as they started their engine, a strange silence descended. The usual chirping of cicadas, the distant calls of birds, gone. Elias dismissed it. Just the heat, he grunted. They drove, dust erupting behind them, following their familiar, barely visible track, back towards the park boundary. Then, the first sign. A massive fallen tree, freshly toppled, blocked their path. Not a natural fall. The break was too clean, too deliberate. Just bad luck, Juma said, but a flicker of unease crossed his face. They spent hours clearing it, sweating, cursing. By the time they were done, the sun was beginning to dip, painting the sky in fiery hues. As darkness fell, a new sound permeated the night. The low, resonant rumbling of elephants. Not the usual distant, gentle communication. This was closer, deeper. It vibrated through the ground, through their very bones. It felt like a heartbeat, or perhaps a warning. The next morning, their vehicle refused to start. The fuel lines were severed, perfectly. Not chewed by rodents, but cut with precision. Sabotage, Kwasi whispered, his eyes wide. Elias scoffed, but even he felt a cold knot in his stomach. Walking was their only option. They started on foot, carrying their equipment and the heavy ivory. A 30-kilometer trek to the nearest road. The elephants, it seemed, had decided to join them. Not with a charge, not with a roar. With strategy. Every waterhole they knew was either trampled into an impassable mud pit, or deliberately fouled. Their trusted hidden caches of supplies, gone. Scattered, crushed, unusable. It was like the very bush was conspiring against them. They were led astray by false trails, guided by subtle scent markers only an elephant could create. Deep into unfamiliar, dense thickets. The oppressive heat, the constant thirst, the relentless weight of the ivory, it all began to take its toll. Kwasi, delirious, stumbled. He dropped his rifle. A low rumble, impossibly close, sent shivers down their spines. They knew they were being watched, always watched. Then the psychological torture began. They'd hear heavy footsteps just beyond their vision. The snap of a branch, the deep guttural sighs. But when they spun around, nothing. Just the shimmering heat haze and the endless silent bush. The elephants were herding them, not toward safety, but deeper into a meticulously crafted trap. One evening, exhausted and desperate, they stumbled upon what looked like a narrow, overgrown game trail, leading towards a distant ridge, their only hope for an escape route. Elias, overriding Juma's cautious instincts, pushed them forward. It was a dead end. Not just a dead end, but a deep hidden ravine, masked by overgrown foliage. As they stood on the precipice, realizing their fatal mistake, the earth itself seemed to erupt. From the dense cover behind them, the herd emerged. Not a panicked charge, but a deliberate, slow, terrifying advance. Trunks, like battering rams, smashed down nearby trees, cutting off any retreat. The ground vibrated with their synchronized steps. The air filled with their deep, angry rumbles, a chorus of ancient rage. These weren't just animals, they were an avenging force of nature. Their eyes, intelligent and unwavering, bore into the poachers. There was no escape, no mercy. The final moments are not for us to recount in graphic detail. What is known is that only one man, Kwasi, was found days later, miles from the site, broken, half-mad, babbling about the ghosts of the giants. He never touched another rifle. Elias and Juma were never seen again. The ivory, recovered by rangers, was found crushed, shattered into worthless splinters at the bottom of that ravine, alongside the mangled remains of their vehicle. The elephants, it seemed, had ensured their debt was paid in full. This isn't just a story of revenge. It's a primal scream from the heart of the wilderness. It's a testament to the raw, untamed power that we, as humans, often forget to respect. The elephants, with their incredible intelligence, their unbreakable family bonds, and their ancient memory, prove they are not helpless victims. They are guardians. They remember every injustice. And sometimes, they make sure we remember too. The ivory trade still fuels unimaginable suffering. But stories like this remind us, when we push nature too far, when we violate its sanctity, the consequences can be devastating. Let this be a chilling reminder that the wild has its own justice. Respect it, protect it, because the giants of the earth are watching, and they will not be silenced.